everybody. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. It is Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025, 7:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the Voiceman Studios in Toronto, Canada. Episode 332. Do it again. What are the horror moments, the horror scenes that traumatized you as a child? I mean, depending on how old you are, for me, obviously, it would be the 80s. Well, you know what? Not necessarily. I mean, you could be 22 years old right now, but when you were, say, like 10 years old, maybe there was a movie from the 70s that scared you. You know what I mean? Or a moment from one of those movies. So that's not necessarily true. But I want to know what are, you know, when you think of your childhood, when you think of the movies you watched as a child, what are the moments? What are the scenes? Not the movie itself. I mean, you can tell me about the movie, but I'm talking about specifically a moment in a movie, a shot in a movie, a scene in a movie that just always gave you the heebie-jeebies, the jeebie-heebies, the blah, 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 blah. Always gave you the heebie-jeebies. And even when you watch it today as an adult, you know, it might not give you the same heebie-jeebies it did however many years ago it was for you, but it still has that kind of, oh, yeah, you know, I remember that, right? I want to know what that is for you, and what specifically, it was. It's you know, there's a lot of movies that where that you know, it's, you know, you watch them as a kid, and they and you know, especially back in, you know, when I was growing up as a kid through the 80s. I mean, again, there was no social media. There was no, you know, you'd rent a movie if you were lucky, if it was available to rent, or you'd watch it on TV and you'd see it. And then, you know, there was really no opportunity to get desensitized to these things unless you were renting them over and over and over and over again, which I did do with some movies. But nowadays, you know, it's easy to get creeped out, but then it's also just as easy to become as quickly desensitized to it, because you can look at clips on YouTube, you can look at images on Google, you can just watch it over and over and over and over and over again, right? And then it kind of, that novelty wears off. But, you know, there was a certain mystique, there was a certain mystery that certain moments or shots or scenes carried with you if you were a kid. Certainly, I mean, you know, for me, but I mean, that would only be even more so back in you know, back in like the 50s or the 60s, or, you know, when there was no VHS, there was no home movie entertainment. It was just literally going to the movies, and that's it. If you didn't go to the movies to see the movie, you never saw the movie, essentially, until it came back for, you know, whatever reason, or maybe it wound up on cable or you know, TV. But then back in the old days, I mean, there were only 3 networks, right? And so, I mean, it was a very, 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 very different world, a very different sort of place. But for me, keep thinking about the ones for you. For me, there are 2 that come to, I mean, there's probably more, but there's 2 that immediately come to my mind. And the first one that I always think of, and it's funny because other people have mentioned this movie, other people have mentioned other moments in this movie that I agree with, that when I think of being a kid when I watched it, because I was 10 when it came out, I remember watching it, and I agree with those who say that scene is creepy, and it is, but it's not the creepy scene in the movie that always got me. There's another creepy scene in the movie. Actually, it's multiple scenes in the movie. But there's another character in this movie that I always think of way before I think of this other character. And when I watched this movie, you know, when I was 10 or 11, you know, I used to think that that scene that most people talk about, yes, absolutely. It's creepy, but it's the other character that always got me. whenever I would watch this movie or think of this film. And of course, I'm talking about the movie Pet Sematary, the original Pet Sematary from 1989. And of course, you know, there's the big moment in that movie where little Miko Hughes gets hit by a truck. That's not the scene I'm talking about, by the way. This is kind of an honorable mention. It's still pretty devastating to this day. It's still so well done. I remember watching the movie, and again, for those of you that are younger, you have to remember the time period, right? Like, this is before the internet. This is before social media. I mean, you know, you couldn't just jump on your phone. You couldn't rewatch the scene 573,721 times. You know, it was just, you know, it was the theater or VHS or you know, and it still carried a mystique. There wasn't, you know, the internet didn't exist. So, you know, seeing like a little baby, like, even though you didn't see the baby get hit by the truck, just the mere suggestion of it was devastating. It was like, oh my God, it was crazy. Like, now, you know, we live in a world where I can literally go to Google and type in, you know, Al-Qaeda beheading videos, and I get something 10 times more horrific and real in like 0.8 seconds. Like, this is the world we live in now, right? You know, where there's kids today watching, hey, you want to watch this beheading video, bro? It's like, what? Like, where? Like, and it's real. You know, it's like, it's crazy. Kids are like, I mean, it's crazy. Back in 1989, watching little, you know, little Gage there get, you know, and even you didn't see it, it was like back in those days. And we were talking nearly 40 years ago. Back, it was like, oh my God. It's like, oh my God, the fun little, he's getting this little kite thing. Like, it was devastating. It was devastating. So I got to give that an honorable mention, because that is crazy. That's crazy. And it's still crazy. Even watching the movie today, that scene still holds up as devastating. It does. It does. But it's not the scene. Now, most people, when they talk about the creepy scene that really got them as a kid in Pet Sematary, is the Zelda scene, which was portrayed by a man, which was brilliant, actually, because it gives this uncanny valley sort of like, oh my God, like, what's that, you know? And it is creepy. I'm not saying it's not creepy. It is creepy. And I thought it was creepy when I was watching it as a kid. And it might have gave me a jeebie. Maybe it gave me a little bit of a jeebie, but it didn't give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know if that's a thing. I have no idea if that's a thing. Maybe it gave me the jeebies. See, look here. You got Michael King. Zelda, oh my fucking God. Most people, that's what they point to. That's what they point to. And it is creepy. It's creepy. Yeah, I get it. It's creepy. Totally. The gaunt, you know, yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy. It is creepy. But it's not the one that got me. The one that used to give me the heebie-jeebies, was this guy right here. He used to give me the heebie-jeebies. Every time I watch this movie, that's right, Michael, one heebie. Just one. Every time I watch this movie, I used to get, even today, even that shot right there, he's creepy. What's his name? Victor Pascow, right? There's just something about, he just looks like, the way he acts, the way he responds, the wound on his head. I used to be, and the way he wakes up, the way, the dad wakes up in the night and he's just standing in the doorway and he's just like, hey, how are you? You know, he's just kind of calm, cool, collected. And then all of a sudden, he winds up like right by the bed. It's like, oh my God, that used to scare the fuck out of me. That used to creep me to all hell when this shot happened, where like he looks, he's like, where'd he go? And then all of a sudden he's right beside him. Oh, that gave me the heebie-jeebies way more than Zelda ever did. And I think it's an unpopular take. I've yet to meet anybody, really, because whenever I talk to anybody, it's always Zelda. And listen, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, Zelda, it gave a lot of people the heebie-jeebies. It only gave me one heebie. Maybe for some people, this gave you one heebie. And not the heebie-jeebies, but this guy gave me the heebie-jeebies. And then, something like this too, like, it's creepy. Like it's the makeup effects are great. I think the performance is great. This used to always, and again, it's really only in the house here. Once they get out to the pet cemetery and he takes them to the pet cemetery, I feel a bit, I don't feel the heebies as much, or the heebie-jeebies as much. It's more so when he's in the house, and it's more so the way he just suddenly appears, beside the bed, right in the doorway. And there's also a long shot too. There's a wider shot of him standing in the doorway, and he's almost transparent. And it scared me. It used to scare me as a kid. Not like scare me like, Mommy. I mean, I was 10 years old when this movie came out. I wasn't like a little kid. But I used to get those, it was eerie. It was just very, very eerie to me. So, yes, Victor from Pet Sematary used to give me the heebie-jeebies and scare me way more than Zelda ever did. Zelda's creepy. But there's something, maybe Zelda's too theatrical. Maybe for something like for me, maybe. I don't know. But just seeing Victor just like, and you know what's too, what it could be too, subconsciously. When I was a little kid in the 80s, my older brothers, I think more specifically my brother Bob, I've told this before, but he was a bit, well, maybe Neil as well, I'm not sure, but certainly Bob was a big fan of Iron Maiden. And, we used to have Iron Maiden records. And of course, Eddie, the mascot of Iron Maiden, who I loved Eddie, but I used to have reoccurring nightmares of Eddie. And I remember having this one nightmare where I'm like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. I'm lying in bed and I roll over to my right, and right there, just like Victor, baby, just like Victor, right there is Eddie. Is Eddie from, I forget, my musician, my music Iron Maiden metal experts from the 80s will know, but it was the Eddie from the album cover that had Eddie on it, and there was like a street light or something, and Eddie had kind of like spiky hair. What's the name of the, if somebody could tell me the name of that album, I will bring up a photo of it. And anyways, it was that Eddie, because there was different iterations of Eddie, right? I also had a reoccurring dream with Eddie. I forget the name of the album, but he's big on the album. He's got long white hair and he's going like this. And there's like a devil, I think, with a pitchfork. I forget the name of that album. I could Google it myself, I guess, and it would probably, I just type in Iron Maiden albums, Dave, and it'll pop up. Killers. There it is. Thank you, Justin. Killers. Amazing. So let me go get Killers here. Iron Maiden Killers. Oh yeah, that, maybe I'm thinking of a different one. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's the back of the, yes. So I have a t-shirt of that. I still have that t-shirt. I haven't gotten rid of it. I don't think I have anyway. Yes, there's Killers, but it wasn't that. Maybe it wasn't Killers. It was, because that's not the spiky hair. It was, anyway, I don't know what album this is, or if this is maybe the back of that same album. It looks like it could be the back of that same album. 1 second here. Or maybe it's yes, Killers. Yes, that was great. But it was this Eddie. I think this is Eddie anyway. I think it's Eddie. It was this Eddie here. 1 second. Sorry, guys. I promise I'll get to your things here. I'm just going off on a tangent. I'm pretty sure it was this version of, maybe it was that one, but it was this Eddie here. It was that one right there. See, there's the street light. Is that the same album? My music experts in the chat room, let me know if that's the same album. I'm pretty sure that is that's the one that was beside me in the, right beside somebody will let me know. Is that the same album? Yeah, the album's number, no, that's their first album. This is their first album? This is their first album? Really? This is their first album? Interesting. What's it called? Yeah, the album's number. The Number of the Beast. The Number of the Beast, it's called? Okay. All right. Is that what it's called? Is that the name of it? Oh, that's the, okay, maybe you guys are behind me. The number of, yeah, okay, so that Eddie, yes, this Eddie used to traumatize me in a reoccurring dream. But what's this one here? The one that's on the screen. The one that's on the screen, I know you guys can't see me here. The one that's on the screen, what is that? That's just called Iron Maiden. Okay. All right, it's just called Iron Maiden. The End of Sleep, sorry. Yeah, The Number of the Beast. So The Number of the Beast. Is that album right there. That cover right there. And that Eddie, I fucking love Eddie, man. I fucking love Eddie. He's amazing. And I used to have reoccurring nightmares to that Eddie, 100%. And when I moved away from my childhood home, I never dreamt of him ever again. Now we're best friends. Eddie and I are cool now. Anyway, the first album's called Number Iron Maiden. It's just self-titled. Okay, fair enough. Well, it was either that Eddie, not the one that I just had up, not The Number of the Beast, not that one. It was either the Eddie from Killers or the self-titled album that was beside me, like, I'm telling you, like this, like fucking Victor from Pet Sematary. He was beside me like, he was doing this. And I woke up and I was like, Eddie, ah! My sister tells us, she loves to tell the story. Yeah, Dave was yelling, Eddie, we could hear him. He's having a nightmare. Eddie, ah! This was last week. No. Anyway, I digress. So, that's that. So who knows? Maybe I found that really freaky because I used to have dreams of Eddie, and Eddie used to be like right beside my bed. I'm like, ah, maybe subconscious. I was, oh my God, and that's why I find it so freaky. So, anyways, in case you're just joining us, we're not talking about Iron Maiden and Eddie. Although Eddie, I did find Eddie freaky, but he wasn't because of the movies or anything. So yeah, and then the other thing that I always found creepy and eerie, the other character, it's not really a scene, I guess, it's more a character, although he's creepy in every scene he's in, is Big Ben from House. Big Ben from House. I always found Big Ben from House eerie, creepy, and the effects makeup just absolutely outstanding. I mean, just unbelievable. I think he could have been his own villain he's not really a villain. He's the product of a lot. Anyways, it's a whole thing. If you haven't seen House, but he could have been like a villain, and I guess he was to a degree, but anyways, but he didn't freak me out. I didn't get the heebie-jeebies with Big Ben in the same ways that I got the heebie-jeebies with Victor. Victor gave me the absolute heebie-jeebies as a kid. And So, yeah. Anyways, hey, listen, folks, if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on what horror movies out there you growing up as a kid. They can be scenes, they can be characters, moments, shots. What traumatized you as a kid? I mean, now that you're an adult, maybe, not so much, but what are they? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd really like to know. Let's go over to the chat room and see what all you are saying now all about this. I know... let me just see here. Simon Mills sent in a member chat and says, not horror per se, but Watership Down the Fields of Blood scene was scary as a kid. Watership? Haven't heard of it. And the Bright Eyes song bit was really sad. Definitely a film that brought so much emotion as a young child. Okay, there you go. Cool. Tabitha Short says, when I was a kid, the OG A Nightmare on Elm Street Tina kill scene really scared me. It scared me even more when I watched the unedited version for the first time. I was like, what the fuck? It's amazing. Oh yeah. For sure. There's some things in Elm Street that definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies as a kid. I tried to kind of pick things that were not so cliche for myself. But yeah, that's true. Alex C sends in $5, says, mentioned on TSL podcast earlier, Darkman, the scene where he bends the guy's finger at the carnival. I haven't seen Darkman. I know the film you're talking about, though. His full burnt face reveal. Very cool. Let me see here. Alex Schembach sends in $4.99 and says, a horror scene that had a lasting impact for me and many others is the VHS alien footage from Signs. Honorable mention for the psycho attic skeleton. Not the attic, it's the basement, right? I think it's the basement, I think. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is the attic. I thought it was the basement. But anyway, yes. That, look, I was already 23 years old when Signs came out. But that footage from the birthday party in Mexico or wherever it was, where you see the alien step out and they pause it, it is one of the great eerie moments in any film. And it's funny how I feel. I'm not going to go into it today because maybe I'll do a separate video on it. But I've heard so many people talk about it and talk about that it's creepy, but I've yet to hear people actually analyze and dissect why. Because if you think about it, why is that creepy? We've seen aliens that look like that before. We've seen, there's nothing like, it's not like this is, it's 2002. The internet was around, so there was no social media, but it's not like that long ago, right? It's not like 1950. And I have figured out in my own mind, anyway, why I think that is, why even to this day, it's very eerie. And it has to do more so with sort of the lead up and the build, and just the way the film unfolds, and how it's presented. And really it's all about, anyways, I'm going to go off on a tangent, but yes, I agree. That is a very good one indeed. Member chat from Sean Sheridan Movie Reviews says, Halloween 4 was one of my first horror movies and Michael scared the shit out of me. There you go. Yep. Halloween 4. VO Trapper sends in $5, says, hey, Dave, I have a question for you. How about any horror scenes that even scare us as adults? For me, one of them is High Tension. The whole movie, or is there a scene in High Tension that really scares you? I don't know. You got to let me know. Alex sends in $2, says, Brady's death in age 4. Saw that at 4 years old. Okay. All right. Is it Najea? I'm mispronouncing your name. My apologies. Sends in $1.99, says, Busta Rhymes karate kicking Michael gave me chills. Somehow I disagree, or somehow I think you're just pretending, but maybe you're not. Maybe it truly gave you chills. I don't know. somehow I think you're being sarcastic, but hey, to each their own. Let me see here. Alley Girl says, scariest scene that traumatized me was Artex drowning in the nothing. Artex drowning in the nothing? I have no idea what you're talking about. Tiger Man says the movie The Witches, 1990, scared me as a 5-year-old. All right. You know what also gave me the heebie-jeebies too? And I'm pretty sure it was Bette Davis. Oh, no, The Watcher. Yeah, the 1980 film. Is it Bette Davis? It was Bette Davis. The 1980 film, The Watcher in the Woods, starring the late, great, legendary Bette Davis. I believe it was a Disney film, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Disney? Buena Vista Distribution. Yeah, it's definitely Disney. There was something about Bette Davis on the cover of that movie. Let me see here. As a child, I remember thinking there was just something eerie about her. There's been a lot of iterations of the cover since, but I'm looking for the original cover. Is that it? It looks like a modern one. I'd know it if I saw it. But anyway, something about Bette Davis in The Watch. I mean, she could look creepy anyway, but those are some good ones. V.O. Chipper, $5. Thank you. Says, honestly, the entire film, including the twist, which off topic I'll defend to this day, but especially the home invasion sequence. In High Tension. Yeah. No, listen, High Tension, or in some places around the world, it's known as Switchblade Romance, is a great film. One of my favorite psychological horror films ever, really. I mean, I haven't watched it in quite a few years. I do own it. I have it on DVD. I don't know if it was ever available on Blu-ray, or I guess it probably was. I didn't get it. But no, like, I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. You know, I mean, others could be like, again, I mean, I wasn't a kid, but I was 23. But when I first watched The Ring, now The Ring, the whole film, that whole original film is just oozing with mood and atmosphere. But of course, it's got one of the great jump scares of all time. And that jump scare, and again, maybe I'll do a video on this as well, but you know, so many people talk about that jump scare as being one of the greatest of all time, and it is one of the greatest of all time. Again, despite what your thought of the movie might be, maybe you didn't like the movie, maybe it didn't, you know, affect you, but it is one of the great jump scares of all time. And of course, I can just say The Ring jump scare. You already know what I'm talking about. And there's several jump scares in the movie, but if I say The Ring jump scare, you know what I'm talking about. And it was so effective. And the reason why it was effective, we see jump scares, you know, a lot in horror movies, right? Some are very effective, some are not. Some rely on it as a crutch, which is never a good thing. But the reason why the jump scare in The Ring is so effective is, yes, we can point to Rick Baker's makeup and the job that he did, and I mean, it wasn't the real girl; it was a prosthetic, or, you know, whatever it was. But the work that he did was amazing. But the reason why, if you want to know, in my professional opinion, the reason why that jump scare is so effective is not just because it's a creepy face. It is a creepy face, but we've seen many creepy faces in horror movies before and after, in jump scares that don't land nearly as effectively. And the reason, in my opinion, why the jump scare, and there are other jump scares like The Ring, like the one in The Ring, that are as effective, or to varying degrees of effectiveness. But the reason why that is so effective is because, now stay with me, okay? Stay with me when I say this, because what I'm about to say, you're going to say, well, duh, that's the point of a jump scare. But stay with me. The reason why it's so effective is because it comes at a moment that is, it comes at a moment you least expect it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, duh, that's the point of a jump scare. No, but hear me out. Let me go a bit further. So you can implement jump scares in different ways in different times, right? And so one of the reasons why it is so effective, it's a culmination of things, right? It's a team effort here. One of the reasons why it's so effective is, yes, because of the eeriness of the mood and the atmosphere, because of Rick Baker's work, because of the face, and because of how fast you see it, and how, and it's there for a second and it's gone, yes. But the reason why is because it happens at a moment where not only do you least expect it, but it is during a moment that is calm, that is peaceful, that is otherwise the complete antithesis of something jarring and scary that should happen. So a lot of times in horror movies, we anticipate jump scares because jump scares may catch you off guard and may still scare you, but subconsciously, you're not thinking of it consciously, but subconsciously, if somebody is walking around a creepy dark house in the middle of the night and a jump scare happens, that jump scare may still scare you, but subconsciously, even though you're not thinking of it, subconsciously you are expecting it because, well, there's creepy music, they're in a house and it's dark. Something is likely to happen. But one of the reasons why the jump scare in The Ring is so effective is because you have two sisters that are talking in a kitchen, and they're talking at the funeral, right? Or the wake, or whatever it is. And it's calm, it's cool. There's no inkling that you would expect something to interrupt this calm moment of these two sisters talking and just, and then all of a sudden come back. And that's what happened. Maybe some of you got scared there. But it's literally like me talking like this right now, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, you know what I mean? You're just watching me and you're on your phone, you're watching me and I'm talking about something, and then all of a sudden on the screen is just, and then it just, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And this isn't a movie. It's a commercial, but if I say commercial jump scare, you know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing. Seeing that car drive along that road, you know what I mean? And then it's driving, and all of a sudden, right, that face comes up. It's the same principle. And so, yes, the face is scary. Yeah, and that's a big part of it. But The Ring is almost like the movie version of that. Right? Is you're not expecting it. It's earned as well because it's properly motivated, as I like to say, because the sister says, you should have seen her, her face. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's just like, what the fuck? And it's on and it's gone. And before you even have time to process what you've seen, it's off. Before you even have time to process what you've seen, it's off the screen. Right? You know what I mean? So incredibly effective. There are other movies that sort of do that. The first Insidious has the Darth Maul moment. Not quite as effective as the one in The Ring, but still very effective, and still a classic. People often point to it as a classic jump scare, and it is and the principles are sort of similar, a conversation that's kind of happening. So there's reasons for that. And I know probably most of my audience doesn't care about analyzing these kinds of things, but I do. And because it's, I find them interesting, is that, we can talk about it being scary, but why? Why does this jump scare work and this one doesn't? Why would this jump scare, with all the bells and whistles and all the things going for it, doesn't land, but then this one does? Why is that? Like, why? From a storytelling, filmmaking perspective, why? Those are the questions I like to ask. Those are the things I'm interested in. And so that's, I like those things. I don't just like to talk about that they scare. Yeah, they scare. Why? Why are they so effective? And so, I think that's, because jump scares get such a bad rap, but a great jump scare, a properly, meticulously placed, or I should say strategically placed jump scare at just the right moment can be brilliant and have a lasting effect on an audience forever. And now, of course, you rely on it and, away we go. But yeah, there's a lot of, well, there aren't a lot, but there are some definitely great moments like that. Let me see here. Josh McKenna sends in $1.99. Thank you, Josh, and says, I received the It's Me Billy script. It's really cool. Amazing. Awesome. Yes, I know a lot of the scripts went out. We are still getting perks out to you guys. By the way, I've received some packages that were returned to me. One was returned to me because the individual forgot to put their apartment number on it. So no worries. I've got the apartment number now, so I will resend. But I also received a, and I made a note of this in the update that I sent out today on the campaign. If you picked up a 2XL hoodie on the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 campaign and you have yet to receive your hoodie, get in touch with me. And this isn't an open invitation to people to try and lie and try to get a hoodie. I will be able to know if you picked up the hoodie because your name will be listed on the campaign. So, I am trusting my audience to be faithful. If you ordered a 2XL hoodie and you have not received it, get in touch with me because I got a 2XL hoodie sent back to me. And ordinarily the address is on there, but for whatever reason, it was torn off. So I see my address, but I don't see your address. So if you have yet to receive your 2XL hoodie, reach out to me via the campaign or Facebook, Instagram, wherever. And I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can because I want to clear that up. Awesome, Josh. Good to know. Thank you. Movie Chat More sends in £5 and says, for me, it's always been Salem's Lot. Even decades later, I'm still very weary and spooked by stuff at the windows. Yeah, the original Salem's Lot. That's a good one. Logan Reynolds, $4.99. Thank you, Logan. Says, Jaws was my favorite scary movie and 2 scenes bothered me. The jump scare of Ben Gardner. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. I had to mute his screams until I was older. Incredible. And then, did you tell me the other one? You said 2 scenes bothered me. The jump scare, Ben's Gardner. Oh, and Quint's death. Right. Yeah. Quint's death was brutal. No doubt about it. The blood coming out of his mouth and everything. Jeremy Hemp sends in $5. Thank you, Jeremy. Says 2 for me. Ending of Sleepaway Camp. Well, I hear you. And the lady in Omen 2 getting her eyes plucked out. I haven't seen the Omen 2. I've seen the original Omen, but I haven't seen the Omen 2. In the road and then hit by a semi-truck. Thanks for all you do, Dave. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. I don't think I've seen the Omen 2. Maybe I have seen the Omen 2. I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, that would be devastating. There's no doubt about it. Marty says something similar to what you are describing happened in Insidious 2 at the hospital with the transvestite. Heavy, momentary, huge jump scare. I would have to look into that. I've seen Insidious Chapter 2, but I don't quite remember the scene you're talking about. Michael Myers fan 1234 says, yep, Exorcist 3, a lot of eerie shit. Yeah, you see, that's also why, to a similar degree, like these are cousins, but a lot of people like to point to the jump scare in The Exorcist 3, right? And all I have to say is The Exorcist 3 jump scare, and you know what I'm talking about, right? When, the nurse is walking around and then there's all of that, and that crash zoom. But there's a lot of things going on in that moment to draw it out. That it's a cousin of that, but it's not quite the same thing as the jump scare in in The Ring. I agree that the jump scare in The Exorcist 3 is one of the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about it. Highly underrated film. If you've not watched The Exorcist 3, watch it. George C. Scott is amazing. Anytime he's yelling and screaming, he's amazing. Has there ever been a movie with George C. Scott and Gene Hackman? I would have loved to have seen a movie with George C. Scott and Gene Hackman just yelling at each other. That would have been amazing. But anyway, so But in The Exorcist 3, it's kind of similar. It's like a hybrid of all three, really. And maybe that's why it's so brilliant, is you have this hospital. There's nothing eerie happening, but you know that something might. So your subconscious is kind of ready for it. Like your subconscious and your conscious, your subconscious and your conscious was not ready for that jump scare in The Ring at all. And that's why it's so effective. In The Exorcist 3, it's a little bit on simmer maybe. It's one shot and we don't cut from that shot, which now because we don't cut in to see what the nurse is doing, we don't show multiple takes. It's just one shot at the back. And you see them walk around. She goes in, she comes out, she goes over here, she comes in. And then of course there's the great moment comes, and it's a crash zoom right in on the moment. Incredibly effective. One of the great jump scares. Absolutely 100%. For sure. And it's, there's a little bit of different ingredients for that one of why it works, but both are equally as effective. And both great examples of effective jump scares. You know what I mean? The Ochapur, $10. Thanks, buddy. Says, for me, I think High Tension was the first non-franchise slasher film that truly scared me, simply because it's all too real and twisted. And even the twist only reinforces it. If you think about it, that's true. Yeah, I highly recommend. I rented High Tension years ago when I actually worked at a video store. I rented High Tension because I was looking for a new horror movie to watch, to rent. And I saw it there and I read the back of the box and I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll rent it. And there's that French song at the beginning when they're driving in the car that I thought was really, really catchy. And yeah, I really liked the movie. The twist got me. And I really, really liked the film. So if you haven't seen High Tension, I think it's known as High Tension universally now, right? Like I think even in the UK, I think it's known as High Tension. Maybe not. I know in some places it was known as Switchblade Romance, but I think it's kind of just High Tension now, I think. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Michael says, oh, Dave, you need to see The Omen 2. I'll put it on the list. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, I have two favorite scenes that used to scare me. One, Michael appears under the red light in H2. Yes, that's a great one. The way he stands, so creepy. And two, Michael appears in the darkness with the blue lighting in H7-8. Yeah, those are great. Those are definitely great. Very creepy, Chester. I could not agree more. Let me see here. What's going on? Where'd you guys go? There we go. Oh no, there we go. What happened? No, I see you guys. I'm still live. For some reason, all right. No, that's fine. Okay. Let me go over to the live. 1 second here. Where are you guys? There you guys are. All right. Tone Gibbs says the OG Candyman in the beginning when they are telling about the boyfriend encounter with Candyman and he appeared behind him and hooked him. Saw that as a kid and was horrified. That's a good one. Bobby Hall says this isn't a horror movie, but the scene where the guy gets his heart ripped out in Temple of Doom, that's pretty horrific. Used to traumatize me as a kid. I watched it with my parents and grandparents, and they had to calm me down. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Bobby. That's a good one, yeah. Mother-um, sudarum, bum, bum, mother-um. I fucking love that. Mother-um, sudarum, bum, bum, mother-um. It's so great. The music in those movies were so great. I mean, maybe not as politically correct today, but it's still a great movie. I love it. You guys know how much I love Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And yes, that ripping out the heart. And folks, that was a PG movie. Some people make the mistake. They often think that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was the first PG-13 movie. That is not true. It was a PG movie wild. But it was the movie that helped usher in the PG-13 rating. I think, was it Red Dawn was the first PG-13 movie? Am I getting that right? Patrick Swayze, I think? Maybe I'm off on that. But anyway, but some people say, I can't believe that, Poltergeist was PG and Jaws was PG and Temple of Doom was PG. And, but you have to remember that the next rating above that would have been R. And a lot of these movies were not quite R movies, but not quite PG movie. So they just aired on that. They just, okay, we're going to go with PG, parental guidance, right? But yeah, Temple of Doom was the movie where the industry realized, I think we need a buffer. I think we need something in between PG and R. And of course, the PG-13 rating was born. But I think some people, at least it seems like when I see some sort of discourse online, people will argue, yeah, well, Poltergeist was PG and, all this guy, like they had another option. Yeah, they had R, true, but when you watch Poltergeist, is it really R? Not really. You know what I mean? When you watch, Jaws, is it R? It could be, but I think there's an argument to be made that not quite, so, it's just that middle ground, that buffer. Logan Reynolds says the Grudge 2004 poster really bothered me as a kid. There you go. The creepy eyeball staring at you was seared into my mind. That's a good one. I love the Invasion of the Body Snatchers 1978 theatrical poster. It's sort of the elongation of the shadows. It's creepy. Creepy. Cody the Zombie, been a member for 18 months. Amazing. Thank you, Cody. Says, did you ever watch The Monkey, the most recent film by Osgood Perkins? No, not yet. If so, your thoughts? I done told you I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. You thought The Monkey was a joke? I haven't seen it. Of course, it's directed by Osgood Perkins, son of the late, great Anthony Perkins. And Osgood Perkins directed, obviously, Long Legs. It's his follow-up to Long Legs. And he got that out pretty quick. I mean, his follow-up was pretty... Obviously, he was already shooting The Monkey with Long Legs already in the can, because Long Legs was just last summer and The Monkey was just last month, right? Or a month or two ago, whatever it was. So that's 2 movies in less than a year. So, yeah. But horror movies, when you got the money and you got the backing and you got the support, you can dish them out pretty quickly. You can shoot horror movies are what? 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe. You know what I mean? If you're taking, way back in the day, I think Kubrick shot The Shining over like a year or something like that. Jaws was the budget kept going up. It's very different today, right? But I would say it's probably rare to take 3 months to shoot a horror movie. I mean, listen, if you're doing like a Marvel film, the big epic, yeah. Your principal photography is usually, at least 60 days, if not longer. But something like a horror movie, you can bang those out in, 4 to 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, but it depends, right? It depends on the logistics. It depends on the, what's all involved and everybody's shooting schedule and, all that kind of stuff. And it all depends. There's no one size fits all. Alex Shambach says the Jeepers Creepers scene where the creeper is dumping bodies in the trash by the church, and we get the POV as the brother and sister drive by, truly frightened me as well. Okay. That's a good one. Warren Armour says, wow, I really enjoyed Al Pacino and Gene Hackman, so I'm sure I will love it. I love the French Connection. I had a hat like the one Gene Hackman wore. You must be talking to somebody else in the chat, Warren. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let me see here. Yes, see, Stephanie Lane says Zelda from the original Pet Sematary. Everybody said Zelda. And for me, Stephanie, it wasn't Zelda. Zelda's creepy. But for me, it was this guy, Victor. Victor used to give me the heebie-jeebies, but really not when they got out to the pet cemetery, not when they got out there. It was really just in the house. And when he suddenly shows up beside the bed, creepy. And when he's standing in the house, oh, it's so creepy. The way he looks. This Victor used to terrify me as a kid. He used to terrify me as a kid. I mean, not actually terrify me as a kid, but every time I watched Pet Sematary, I used to get the heebie-jeebies from this character. I did not get maybe one heeb, maybe one jeeb, maybe one heebie, maybe one jeebie. But it was singular. It wasn't plural. With Zelda, I didn't. Oh yeah, it's so creepy. So creepy. Creepy. I never got the heebie-jeebies with Zelda. Zelda is creepy. It just never affected me the way it affected others. At least I don't remember it affecting me that way. Like whenever I think of Pet Sematary, I think of poor little Gage getting, killed by a Mack truck and or a transport truck at the very least, and Victor. I mean, that's what I think of. So obviously there was a big lasting impression there for me. Have I got all these super chats and all the member chats? I just want to make sure I am not missing anything. The last member chat was Cody. The last super chat was VO Tripper. Okay. 92 of you in here and only 26 likes. Folks, smash that like button, please. It is free. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We are less than 100 away from 30,000. So if you're not subscribed, think about it. Do it. It's free. It's all free. It's all free. I know people don't like to do what they're told, or don't like to be told what to do, I should say. But who the hell likes to be told what to do? But consider it. Let's see if there's nearly, there was 96 of you in here. And now, since I mentioned that, 5 of you left. But anyway, let me see here. Oliver Mercer says, yeah, Oz Perkins is a talented director. It's fantastic to see him doing decent, chilling films. Longlegs was complex spin of a thriller horror story. Shall be intriguing to see his new films coming. Yeah, I agree. I like, I haven't seen The Monkey, but I quite enjoyed Longlegs. So I will watch his, I hope he doesn't get, the only thing I don't want, because sometimes filmmakers can get a little pretentious and can get a little, avant-garde. Like that's kind of what happened with Shyamalan. And then Shyamalan was humbled quite quickly. Because you read a lot of the things. I'm not saying that this is going to happen to Osgood Perkins, but I'm just saying that, don't, I just hope just make good movies. Don't try to be artsy fartsy, twisty for, just make good movies. And not every movie has to have a twist. I'm not saying that it does, I'm just saying that, just make a good movie. Shyamalan got so caught up in his own stench, his own farts, that his career struggled because he hit a point where I feel anyway, that he was just looking or writing material that had to always lead to some great twist. There doesn't always have to be a twist in a movie. Now, obviously twists or the hook, but hooks can be variations of twists, right? I mean, there can be twists in movies that are what I would call like maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 twist. So it's a twist that makes you think about certain things from a different perspective, or makes you realize something a bit differently about a character. But I use the term twist lightly. But then there are twists that completely turn everything you thought you knew about what was happening and going on. It's a complete 180, like the twist in The Others or the twist in The Sixth Sense, right? I mean, there are twists that turn everything upside down and make you go, oh my God, wow, and everything you thought you knew is not true, and oh my God, and those twists can be amazing. But there can also be smaller little twists, right? I mean, there's a spectrum in there, and it might not be the right word to use them, or twist might not be the right word to use in those instances, but they're minor twists, like a revelation about somebody's character, or, a revelation about, somebody's relationship with somebody else. But it doesn't necessarily turn the whole movie upside down. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're just little things, but not every movie needs a twist. Not every horror movie needs a twist. The problem is that once one great one comes along and it makes a lot at the box office or does well and it embeds itself into the pop culture, now all the studios want twisty horror movies, and it's like, okay, but sometimes those things have to come organically, and Shyamalan wrote a great script, and then he became the twist guy. It's like, oh, you're going to go Shyamalan movie, there's going to be a twist. And even to this day, people are looking for the twist. And I think he sort of backed himself into a corner where he's, and he couldn't keep it up. And who can? Who can? I wouldn't want to if I came up with some great twist ending for a horror movie, that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want to, devote my career to the twist guy. Sometimes a great horror movie can have a beginning, a middle, and an end and follow more a linear path. And it's just a great story. And it's scary and it's atmospheric and it's moving and it's great, but there's no like shocking, you know what I mean? Sometimes those are great horror movies too. Jaws doesn't have a twist. It's not like, oh, it's not a shark. It's a kangaroo. Oh, no, there's no twist in Jaws. There's no twist in Halloween. There's no twist in The Exorcist. Sometimes, there might be little twists like within the narrative, like, oh, you know what I mean? But it's not like, but Shyamalan had like the big twist. He became the big twist guy. And some of them worked, like The Sixth Sense and The Village was interesting, and I'm not saying every movie he does, but I think part of the problem was that part of it. Or maybe he's just not as good as people thought he was. I don't know. Let me see here. Mendel Goodman sends in a member chat. Thank you, Mendel. Says, what really got me? What really got to me was the movie Midsommar. Suicide scene when the guy jumps, then gets his head bashed in. Yeah, Midsommar is pretty creepy. I think Hereditary is the better film. What's his name? Ari Aster? Is that his name? Or am I thinking of something else? I really liked Hereditary a lot. Midsommar was good, though. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's, I didn't see his follow-up with Joaquin Phoenix. Was that Ben was here? Bill was here? Bob was here? What was that name? Bo was here? Bo was here, I think. It didn't really interest me. It just didn't interest me. I know certain people have their styles, but I don't know. I just hope he doesn't start smelling his own farts. Jason Meyer says, no question for me. My dad took me to see Halloween 2 when it opened in 1981. I can still see the scene where the shape picks the nurse up off the floor with the scalpel in her back. I was 7. Yes, that would have been terrifying. I can see it. Totally see it. 100%. Yep. I can see that. I can definitely see that. No doubt about it. Guitarist Dog 87 says, one time as a child during the early 90s, I walked in on my mom watching Silence of the Lambs. I thought you were going to say something else. And the scene of the dad security guard displayed like an angel moth traumatized me. Oh, I can see that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. For those of you that might just be tuning in, I talked about Victor from Pet Sematary. That gave me the heebie-jeebies more than the Zelda scene. Big Ben or Uncle Ben Big Ben from not The Clock in London, but from House, from the horror movie House. Just the way he looked and everything, it was eerie. Great character, love the design. I'm trying to think. It's funny. I'm going to say, it's funny what you remember, but it's true. The opening of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and I'm not talking about the dream sequence. You guys, look, if you follow me for any length of time, you guys know how much I love A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I might be the world's biggest fan, although maybe not. But I love that movie. I love the Freddy. It's everything. The look, and it's great. And I think it's got the best opening dream sequence in the franchise. But one of the things I think of when I think of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and things that gave me the heebie-jeebies was the opening of that. And I mean like literally the very opening, the opening shot, where you are looking down this suburban street and you hear, I can't do it, obviously, but you hear like, I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Just this weird, eerie, almost melancholic. I don't know. Like it's just, is that the right word? Melancholic. Just this sound. It's just weird and just it's kind of hazy. Like the sound of the music's got this hazy sound, and just looking down this suburban street and seeing that school bus turn onto the street. Because here's the thing. I lived on a street that looked very similar to that. And I used to, when I would go to, the school bus would stop literally right in front of my house. Literally. I would open the front door, walk down the steps, walk to the road, to the ditches. We had ditches then, to the ditch. And I would stand literally on the side of the road. I lived in a small town. I lived about 45 minutes hour north of Toronto in a town called Bolton. It's not so small anymore. But back in the 80s, it was small. When my parents moved to Bolton in 1971, I was born in 79. When my parents moved to Bolton in 71, it was known as the village of Bolton. So it was quite small. Now, when I was born, let's say add 15 years later, by the mid 80s, it had grown a little bit, but it was still a very small town. Very small town. I don't know what the population was at that time. Maybe, I don't know, what, 5,000, 10,000, maybe? I mean, it was very small. It wasn't huge. Maybe a little bigger, but it wasn't huge. It was a small town. And now I think it's got like 100,000 people or something. It's a small city now. But anyways, back then, my street, like so when I would wait for the bus in the mornings, I would see the bus down my street. We had a little bit of a hill, a little bit of an incline, and I would see the bus come and make that same turn, that's from the same direction, that same turn. And so that had to have had an effect. And so, yeah, I loved, the rest of the movie and everything, of course, but just as soon as the movie begins, is the opening on here? Let me see if the opening is on. The opening's got to be on YouTube. It's got to be on YouTube. Let me just see here. Elm Street 2 opening. But Dave, you'll get a copyright thing. Whatever, who cares? Yes, it is. Yes. Okay, this is great. Okay, okay. Okay. All right. So, let me move this over here. And do this. And do this. Okay. You can see that. I'm not going to turn it up. Oh, hang on. So like, desktop, turn that up. This used to traumatize me as a kid. Let me just bring this up. This used to traumatize me as a... No. That's way too strong. This didn't traumatize me as a kid. This did not traumatize me as a kid. This just gave me the heebie-jeebies. Maybe that should have been the title of today's, show. What moments or scenes it was eerie to me. The sound, the look, the hazy kind of vibe. It was very, very, very eerie. Listen to that music. It's eerie as fuck. Yeah! And listen to this bass, right? The boom. Yes! That was my bus. That was my bus coming down the street. Now, the only difference is this was shot in California. You can tell. Well, I mean, this totally could also be the Midwest. I'm just saying that if you've been to California, you've been to Pasadena, or you've been to those places where they shoot to try and hide all the palm trees, the roads look exactly like this, and the sidewalks and stuff. I had ditches, though. Like, I actually had, like, I would come out of my house, and there'd be, like, a ditch here, and I would wait. But, yeah, it's the same thing. This used to give me the heebie-jeebies. The heebie-jeebies. And that sound, right? Like, oh yeah, I used to. It's just that. Now the rest of the movie, I loved and used to. But every time I'd watch this, I'd see that like, it did. Have I missed any super chats, member chats? Let me know. I don't think I've missed any. I just want to make sure. By the way, folks, if you want to become a member here on the channel, I encourage you to become a member on the channel. Would love to have you. We're going to be doing another horror movie nights very soon. That's part of level number 2. I've got a member-only Q&A coming as well. Would love to build those members up. If you would like to become a member here on the channel, become a part of the McRae's and get your name highlighted in green, and you get to send in member-only chats. Guaranteed responses with those member-only chats. Just saying. Doesn't matter what tier. Just saying. Let me see here. Frank, what's going on? Frank says, I was traumatized by Richie from Dusk Till Dawn when he killed that hostage bank teller and seeing Seth stare at the bloody aftermath, but we only see it in flashes. I've got to watch that again. I haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn in quite a while. You know, another thing that used to, quote unquote, traumatize me as a kid, maybe that's a bit strong of a word, but was when, What's-His-Face, it's not really a horror movie, but this is pretty horrific, when What's-His-Face gets his hand blown off in the original Robocop. Oh my God. Anybody else? Does anybody else share that same feeling on that? Another one that used to traumatize me, same movie, was when that guy gets blown away in the office. You have 7 seconds to comply. You know, whatever it is, right? You know, I think he was even deeper than that. He was like, no, he wasn't. You have seconds. No, it wasn't that deep. It was just very, you have seconds. Well, I'm trying to get, I can hear it in my head. You have 10 seconds. It was something like that. Some down here. Something down here. You have 10 seconds to comply. It was like, you have 5 seconds to comply. It was something, it was very deep. You know what I mean? Very deep. Deeper than that. You have 7 seconds to comply. You have 5 seconds to comply. Now I'm starting to sound like Freddy. Ha! No, but that was a great one too. Yeah, Robocop. Brutal. Yeah, it did. Had some brutal moments in it. Movie chat more. £2 says, isn't it about time we watched Dead End, Dave? Dead End? Why is that? It's about time we watch Dead End? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. It's not one of my favorites. Maybe though. Maybe one day. Let me see here. Alex says, Dave, did you go to Canada's Wonderland while living in Bolton? You must be. Are you Canadian? For those of you, for my American friends, Canada's Wonderland is Canada's largest amusement park. It opened in the early 80s. It's huge, not huge in terms of its geographical footprint, but it's a big, epic park. I think it's under the Six Flags banner, if I'm not mistaken. It used to be under Paramount years ago. It's got tons of roller coasters. Like, I think it's got one of the fastest in North America or something. Anyway, it's a huge amusement park. It's like a Six Flags kind of thing. It's just on the outside of Toronto, and it's not too far away from Bolton. And so, yes, we did go to Canada's Wonderland. growing up in the 80s. I mean, it was nowhere near as impressive as it is now, but it was still awesome. My sister Jill actually was one of the first people to ever work at Canada's Wonderland, because it opened in 83, 2, something like that. My sister Jill would have been like 18, 19, and she got a job there. And I think she worked there for quite a few summers. It's a seasonal park, obviously, because it's not a park you could have open in the winter, because Canadian winters are a little too harsh for having an amusement park open. So it's a seasonal amusement park. I believe it is the most attended seasonal amusement park in North America. Take that for what it's worth. I mean, how many I guess there's quite a few seasonal amusement parks in North America, but whether that's a badge of honor or not, I don't know. But it is the most attended seasonal amusement park in North America. So yeah, no, we did used to go to Canada's Wonderland, and it's still open, and it will be opening to the general public. If it's not open already, it'll be opening in the next week or so here. It usually opens in the long weekend in May, my birthday. So it'll be opening very soon. Yeah, it's a great park. If you come up to Toronto and you want to go to like a Six Flags kind of park, go to Canada's Wonderland. You'll have a blast. Tons of roller coasters. Like there's tons, and like there's huge roller coasters there's tons of shit. And there's a new one that's opening this year that takes you through Wonder Mountain and all that kind of stuff. And it's a pretty awesome park. Could be a little pricey though. A little pricey. Got a budget for it, but it's good. Charles Hart says Robocop was very violent for the time and didn't know it was filmed in Dallas. Yeah, it was. Like Mortal Kombat of today. Yeah, no, it was. I always loved it, but it was just that scene where he comes out, you have 10 seconds to comply. And then 10. No, get out of here. Like, why didn't he dive under the table, or I don't know. But then he gets like pushed into the way. And it's just like it's like, oh my God, you have to understand, like kids today, you see that shit all the time. The squibs going on, like you see that shit all the time. But back in those days, man, seeing somebody's hand blown off, I just remember going, oh, like, yeah, that definitely, those two moments in RoboCop used to, quote unquote, traumatize, if you want to look at it like that. It was crazy. Veronica says Wonderland, Halloween. Are you up here as well, Veronica? They do have Christmas themes in December. They do. Yes, they do. Absolutely. They're open in December. Depending on the weather, some of the rides might be open, depending on the weather. That is true. Yes, they do open for a little bit in December, sort of a Christmas thing. They are open in October for kind of it's a Universal, like, you know how Universal Studios has their like scary stuff. Canada's Wonderland has the same kind of thing, in October. And it's really cool up here because it's fall. Like, if you go to Universal, like, yeah, you can have some fun in Florida and California, but, there's nothing like going through creepy haunted houses and hay rides and all that kind of stuff in the actual autumn weather, which is always kind of fun. Tom Ungurian sends in $2. Thank you. Tom says, got my It's Me Billy 2 script today. Amazing. Yes. Amazing. And that is a good segue for me to remind the individual, if you see this, or I have had a few items returned. There's one that doesn't have an address on it, and it's a size 2XL hoodie. So if you ordered a size 2XL hoodie from the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 Indiegogo campaign and you have not received your hoodie yet, please get in touch with me because it may be yours. So I would like to get this off to you as soon as possible. I don't know why it was returned to me, but it was. And there's a few others that were returned. There's a t-shirt that was returned to me, a poster that was returned to me, another hoodie that was returned, but those all have their addresses on them. So if you have yet to receive your poster or your t-shirt or your hoodie, It's probably still coming. There was a few items that were returned that I need to get them out again. So just so you know that they are coming. And the Blu-rays I made, if you contributed to the campaign, you should have received an update from me today. The Blu-rays, we finished the director's commentary. The BTS, Bruce is just adding the credits into the BTS featurette. That is almost done. The BTS featurette, I think, is almost an hour long, so almost as long as the first one on the first chapter. And then we're doing the designs for the covers now for the Blu-rays, and then we have to send all this material off to the manufacturer, and then they'll get it done. So we're getting close to getting the Blu-rays in our hands and being able to ship them off to you guys. Elizabeth Lewis says, Dave, are you a fan of Tall Man from Phantasm? How do you feel about the character? I haven't seen the Phantasm movies in a long time. I remember the character. I can't say that it ever creeped me out. I wasn't a huge fan of the movies. I didn't dislike the movies, but I haven't seen them in a long time. If I haven't seen a movie in a really long time, chances are I didn't like it enough to have it really resonate with me. Do you know what I mean? Not that I dislike it, but, there's certain movies like Maniac Cop I've seen, but I haven't seen that in like 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain movies that, yeah, they're fun and they're kind of, good for its time, but I haven't seen them in a long time. And Phantasm, I don't even know if I've seen all of them. I've seen the first Phantasm. I don't even know if I've seen the second one, to be honest with you. But, yeah, he's kind of creepy looking. Tom says, I seen Bruce on it and said, Bruce Dale on it and said, Bruce Dale, who is that? Sounds familiar. I realize when I see Canada. Oh, I see what you saw the name. Yes, Bruce was the one that sent out the scripts. Yeah, we're tag teaming in terms of who sends out what. I sent out all the hoodies and the t-shirts and the posters. Bruce sent out some. Did he send out some posters? He sent out the signed posters. He sent out all the scripts. So we're sort of tag teaming. So yes, so depending on what you ordered, you may see Bruce's name, you may see my name. Just know if you see myself or Bruce, it is something you ordered from the campaign. So yes, they are still. But yeah, if you are somebody that ordered a 2XL hoodie and you have not received it, please get in touch with me. I have a 2XL. Because I have a 2XL here. I had to open the package to see what size it was because the address was torn off. I guess it got torn off when it got to the border, or I don't know. But I have a 2XL here that I'd like to get to you. So, and I did send out that update on the campaign. So hopefully the individual will see it. I'll make a social media post if I don't hear back as well. But I can't get it to you if I don't know who you are. So let me see. Nikki K says the whole Exorcist ruined my 9-year-old self. The backward spider walk. Oh yes, I was going to mention that. I forgot the backward spider walk, which is the director's cut, by the way, not the theatrical cut. Still scares me. Plus, my friend said I had her bed, which sent me down another hole. Oh, you had her bed, so you kind of had the same kind of bed. Fascinating. Yeah. So I didn't see the director's cut or the spider walk when it first was, like, they shot that and then Friedkin didn't want it added. My understanding is Friedkin didn't want it added into the film because it just didn't look real enough. It didn't look something with the wires. It wasn't convincing. And then, of course, as technology progressed, even through the 80s and the 90s, it was released on a director's anniversary cut, either in the late 90s or the early 2000s or something. They added that back in because they were able to remove the wires, make it look more believable. And it is freaky. It is freaky. The thing with that is that, we've seen it so much now. It still doesn't lose its impact in The Exorcist because I believe it's also sped up just a tad. I believe. I could be wrong, but from what I can remember. But it's also one of, if it's not the first, it's got to be one of the first instances where we see a scene like that. Maybe there's others. There probably will be. But Dave, in 1955, there was Attack of the Puddle Men. Okay. But Dave, I haven't done that in a while. It's so funny. I haven't done that in so long, and people still will say that to me. There's a butt, by the way, if you're a member, there's a Butt Dave emoji. So get those Butt Dave emojis going. But now, in 2025, I mean, how many times have we seen creepy things like that? And I love it when horror movies modern horror films try to veer away from the cliched sort of things like that. Like, it's not that it can't still be effective, but how many times have we seen the creepy girl or the creepy person, doing the whole yes, it was creepy, but it's like a crutch now. It's like, what are we going to do here? Get the creepy girl to go. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, but let's figure out a different way. Like sometimes less really is more, man. Fuck. And the spider walk, I think, would fall into that category. It's not the creepy yoga kind of, twisty thing, but it would fall into that category. And in terms of things like that. And anytime you see a girl walking, doing that bend and walking like that, it's creepy, but it's not as effective as it could be if that kind of stuff was done all the time, right? It's just the more you do something, the less great it's going to be, right? And so, but yeah, there we go. We got the Butt Dave emojis going. But yes, the spider walk in The Exorcist, definitely one of those. It's up there. For sure. Let me see here. Did I get everything? I was talking a lot there. No members. No member chats. No super chats. No more super chats. Just want to make sure, no super chats. No. Okay. I was making sure I'm not missing. Oh, wait, no, Tom. No, I got it. That was just the most recent one. That was the most recent one. Okay. Let me see. Cody. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. That was 2001. Hal. That was the voice of Canadian. What's his name? Douglas Rain. He was a Canadian actor. He died not too long ago, 7 years ago. Although primarily a stage actor, he is best known for voicing HAL 9000, the supercomputer in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey, and the sequel, The Year We Made Contact, 1984. Yep. He kind of looks like he'd talk like that, too. Where was he born? He was Canadian. Where was he born? He was born in, I was going to say Winnipeg. No, he was raised in Winnipeg. Oh, okay. He was born in, No, he was born. Excuse me. His last name is Rain. I thought it said raised in Winnipeg. He was born in Winnipeg to Scottish parents. Yeah, that's great. It's great. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. Let me see. What's time? It's got to be coming up to time. It is 5 more minutes, folks. 5 more minutes left in the show. Jasmine Martinez says, the entire movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, traumatized me as a young girl. That happens. It happens. Well, I mean, there's Large Marge. right? What's that face? I heard that face. I was never a big Pee Wee Herman fan, so I actually didn't watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure, the movie. Only I watched it for the very first time like a couple years ago. Honest. I just never, I don't know what it was. I just the whole, wow, hi kids. Ha, yeah. I just was like, what is he doing? Well, we're going to really try really, really hard. Okay. Oh, Mila, yeah. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Even at like 6, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on? Hey, Mr. Wiggles, you got a big mouth. Huh? I'm like, what is happening? I don't know what it was. I just never grew a taste for it. But I will say that having watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure and I can certainly, in retrospect, I can see hey, listen, a lot of my friends love Pee Wee Herman. A lot of them loved Pee Wee Herman. I just never really got into Pee Wee Herman. Just one of those things I never really got into. Alley Girl dropping the member chat or the member only emojis. I love it. Yeah, there's another perk. If you become a member, you get some of these cool emojis. KG sends in $2. Thank you, KG, and says the entirety of the Babadook. The entirety of the Babadook. I have to say this. I've yet to see the Babadook. I know apparently it's really good, but I've yet to see the Babadook, folks. I've yet to see the Babadook. I've got to see it, though. But the entirety of the Babadook Traumatized, is that because of the annoying screaming kid that apparently is in it? I don't know. The Bad Case sends in $4.99. Thank you very much. Says, I know it's not a movie, but Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, ooh, very good, scared me a shit ton as a little kid. His zombie face was something else. Yeah, you know what? That's actually a really good answer. That's a great answer. Because I remember the Thriller music video playing on, it wasn't MTV. Here in Canada, it would have been Much Music. But I remember the Thriller video playing on Much Music. And I remember when he turned into the werewolf at the end and just seeing those eyes and seeing like the whiskers and the big hair. And I thought it was amazing. And it used to kind of freak me out. That music video did have a creepy, eerie vibe to it. It did. And if you were a kid growing up through the 1980s, yeah, there was definitely something that was creepy about it for sure. That's a good one. That's good. It's good. I mean, it's kind of really Michael Jackson music videos. I mean, you say it's not a movie, and that's true. It's a music video. But at the end of the day, they're short films. A lot of Michael Jackson's music videos were really short films. I mean, they were like 5-6 minute short films. They were 5-6 minute musicals, really, is what they were. If you want to, so hey, listen, if people are meshing genres now, you know what? The Terminator is actually the sci-fi slasher retro. Listen, if people are doing that now, Jaws is like this thriller horror slash. It's kind of a slasher. It's kind of a slasher, bruh. It's kind of a slasher. Oh, shut up! No, it's not. It's not. Jaws is not a slasher. Well, from a certain point of view, it's kind of a slasher because there's some slasher going on. It's just no. But listen, if we're gonna play that game, then Michael Jackson's Thriller is a horror is a 5. I don't know how long it is. What, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, whatever it is. It is a short horror musical. There you go. It's a short horror film. It's a short horror film. And bad. It's a short action movie. It's a short action movie. Yeah. Smooth Criminal. It's a short gangster film. It's a short gangster film. What do you want? What? Billy Bob sends in $9.99. Thank you, Billy Bob, and says, "But Dave, probably the most traumatizing scene is Amityville Horror 2, 1982. The scene where the demon possesses him and his face takes a different structure, and killing his family with zero remorse." It has been a long time since I've seen the Amityville 2. Is that the one that's called The Possession? Or is that one of the other ones? Admittedly, I've seen Amityville. I have seen the second one. I don't know if I've seen the one after that. I mean, the one I usually watch if I am going to watch it, because I do think it is, despite the fact that the story is largely a big crock of shit. I think it's a very good horror movie. Very eerie, very atmospheric. And James Brolin is scary as fuck in that movie. Like, he's scary, man. Like, he's not somebody that I would want to be around. You know, he's a scary dude in that movie. So I do quite like the Amityville Horror. But yeah, is that The Possession? It is part 2. Okay, thank you, Alley Girl. Thank you. Yeah. J Beach Dave, you like mood and atmosphere. The Babadook's got it. I have to check it out. I hear very good things about it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Let me see. I know a few more super chats came in. So did I get them all? Let me go back over here. Billy Bob, The Bad Case, KG. Oh, KG just sent another one in here. Hang on, KG. Oh, and Creepy Kids from Passion of the Christ. Okay. I've seen Passion of the Christ. I saw it when it came out, when it was this big thing. So I have seen the movie. I think I watched it with my mom, actually. I think we watched it. And I'm not like, I'm the world's least most religious person. I've never been to church. I mean, I've been to church for weddings and funerals, but I've never actually been to a church service. Cause it's just not, we didn't grow up that way. So, I know very, very, I know basic, in terms of, well, that's not true. I know a lot more now. I know a lot more now because I'm a little more well-read on it. But back then, 21 years ago when the movie came out, because the movie came out in 2004, when I was 25, I knew very little. I mean, I knew sort of the surface level stuff, but very little about the real depths of the story. And so, but I did watch the movie and I did like it. I thought it was a very, very well-made film. I thought, but I don't remember the creepy kids. But hey, you know what? I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense. Jazz and Martinez putting that emoji there for folks is the dog shit emoji. That's a dog taking a shit. It might be too small if you're on your phone. Maybe you can't quite see it, but that is the dog shit emoji, ladies and gentlemen. The dog shit emoji. The dog shit emoji. Tom Hungarian says, I got to slide out later, everyone. Have a good night. Later, Dave. Good night, Tom. Take care of yourself. Yeah, Nikki K mentions The Exorcist III. Yeah. No, we talked about that. You're absolutely right. Let me see here. Jazz says, Pee Wee Herman is an absolute nightmare of a character. I hated him as a kid, but my brother loved him. Yeah, some people were like that. As a kid, I mean, I loved, some of these shows may not make sense to you in the States, but I was a big fan of Mr. Dress Up as a kid, which is basically the Canadian equivalent of Mr. Rogers. The Polka Dot Door. Again, some of you may not know that. Some of you might know this one, though. This was a Canadian show, live action show. It was Canadian. And it was shot here in Toronto, but it also was exported to the US. So if you're my age, maybe even a bit younger, you may remember a show called Today's Special. Well, Today's Special was a Canadian show, full on, shot, produced, Canadian cast. It was the one with Jeff the mannequin, and if his hat came off, he went back to being a mannequin, and he had to put his hat back on and say, Hocus Pocus, Alamagogus, then he'd come back to life. It was shot in a department store. Well, that department store, it was a set, of course, but it was supposed to be the department store in downtown Toronto. It had the little puppet mouse that used to speak and rhyme. Anyways, that show, Today's Special, was one of my favorite shows as a kid. But I do know that it was exported to the U.S. and I believe it aired on Nickelodeon, if I'm not mistaken, in the U.S. And some people who I've met who are about my age remember it being on in the U.S. as well. So some of you might remember that, but that was a huge Canadian kids show. Today's special. Sesame Street, of course. Old school Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Old school Sesame Street. I used to watch. I don't know what it is now. What is it now? All anime or something? I don't know. I have no idea. All right, folks. Well, listen, that's going to do it for me here on this episode of McRae Live. I want to thank the super chats that came in, the member chats that came in. Thank you for being a member here on the channel. If you want to be a member here on the channel, please click that join button and let's get those members up and let's get them rocking. Horror movie nights coming soon. Member-only Q&A coming soon as well, and I'm going to have another member-only poll, a juicy one, very soon as well, too. Folks, I really appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on anything I had to say here today, but more specifically, what are the scenes, what are the movies, what are the moments, what are the shots, what are the characters that used to traumatize you as a kid? Jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on That's going to do it for me here on this episode. I will be back very soon with another episode. Thank you for tuning in, folks. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon. All righty. There we go. That's better. Cheers.